Thanks for being here. Thanks for keeping me company, and let's get started. Let's get into it. Oh, and there's all of this stuff that I could be doing and I am not doing at the moment. Yeah, we'll just keep working on stuff over here. These just showed up, right? Yeah, because they're follow-ups to this puzzle, right? So like variants on TMI. For all that there's not too much information, there's still not enough, there's never enough information. I like that it tells me that there's no bonus for going fast. Yeah, take your time. Get it right. Actually, this one looks fun because it has the zeros here, and maybe that's enough to like get something. I'm not gonna do the bonus ones. We're gonna keep going over here. I gotta remember how to play the game. Right click to mark as a mine, left click to open up, I think. 3 of these bees. Alright, left click to open up. One of these 2, so not this. Yeah, I'm a genius. Oh, it's full diagonals. It's everything. It's everything. Okay. So if one of these 2, then not these either. Because, yeah. One of these 2, not this. Sweet. Now what? One of these 2, one of these 2. How does that affect this? Not both of these, right? No more than one of these 2. Could be 0 of these 2, right? It could be this one and that one, and then like this one or something, and then these 2. Like this is just so open. Heck. Oh, no more than one of these 2. And no more than one of these 2, but this needs exactly this to be a mine, right? Because one of these 2, and then this one. Yes. Cool. We're still on one of these 2, and we don't know which one. Not that one, it turns out. A different one than that one. You started playing Chicory? Oh, Chicory is really cute! Yeah, I've seen Chicory. Mershana was playing Chicory and showed it off to me. It is a very, very cute looking game. I don't know if I'm ever going to end up playing it, but it is adorable. It's one of those games that's like I wouldn't mind playing it, but also I'm not prioritizing it above the things I currently have to do, which is kind of a lot of things. There's really a lot of things I am currently in the middle of doing. So there's not a lot of likelihood that I'll be playing it soon or ever, but it is cute and I'd play it. That's about all I got. Alright, cool. That was a good run. We got to play Minesweeper for a hot second. You'll play for the both of us then? Fantastic. Yeah, let me know what your journey is like. I'm really excited. Like, what little I've seen of it has been, as you say, very cute, and also like generally uplifting. It's kind of light on combat, and like the message that it's sending is really, really good and really sweet. Like everything I've seen of the game has been great. So I am happy that people are playing Chicory, even if I am not the person that's playing Chicory. Hard to color? Yeah, that's absolutely true. Art is difficult, okay? There is no shame there. One of these 2, so 2 of these 3? Yeah, this is the trick. One of these 2, so 2 of these 3, but no more than one of these 2 because the 1, so that's a bomb. Nailed it. Now, exactly one of these 2, so not this. Alright, we're in there. And now I get to play Minesweeper again. Yeah, okay. Difficult. 2 of the Bs. There's a lot of Bs for there to be only 2 mines left in there. What do you do with that? Oh, there's gonna be so many of the Cs getting opened up too here in these, like, these edges where I have 0 information about anything. Like, all of these Cs are just gonna open up. This one for sure. Like, none of these Cs can be bombs. There's 0 chance that any of these are bombs, because otherwise I get no information about. Well, I might be able to get it through this B, huh? It's not impossible. It's just unlikely. Two, huh? All right, if you say so. I should be able to figure this out? Like that. Oh, there's only 1 A left. It must be a bomb. Cool. Is it just the controls, Inkling, or is it like the general problem of creativity? Like, creativity is just really hard. Because for real, creativity is really hard. That's like a known issue. Ah, here it is. Okay. At least one of these 2 is a bomb. Because of here. And at least one of these 3 is a bomb. So every other B is open. Cool. It's a you problem? Creativity is difficult. Like, that's no shame on you. That's no, like, I'm not, you know, trying to cast shade or anything. I mean, I personally am in what many would call a creative profession, right? I'm literally creating content. But, like, knowing what to do with a blank canvas, impossible. Actual impossible. This has to be a bomb, and this has to be a bomb, because one of these 3 and one of these 3. We did it. Cool. One of these? I'm a gym influencer? Wow, Kellerman, I hate it. I hate it. I don't even know what else to say. That's a problem. You've destroyed me. It's only 1:10 p.m. and I am dead. Amazing. You hate it too? Alright, well then that's okay. As long as both of us hate it. I think we have 3 C's guaranteed here. Here, here, and here. All of these C's. So this should be open. Now we can open all of the C's. And it's exactly the C that I thought I was going to open, is the one that I can't open over here. Can you believe it? I made a prediction and was immediately proven wrong. Almost instantly. As if intentional. How dare they? 3. Okay, well, I know how that works. This is still all like sealed off with barely, and oh, I don't like this. My sponsored posts. If I ever sponsor a post, that's how you know that there's been a body snatcher. That somebody has taken over, that I have been catfished, and someone has stolen my identity. If you see me sponsoring a post, then you know something is wrong. Unbelievable. All right, so now this 3C goes the other direction. Exactly one of these, exactly one of these, exactly one of these. So these 3s have only so many places they could be. Right? We got to do that. Exactly one of these two. Exactly one of these two. Exactly one of these 3. And where does that leave me? Nowhere good. Too bad. One of these 3 and one of these 2, so not this. Good? Kinda good. Kinda like progress. You'd think this would be open at some point. I'd think I'd be able to handle these at some point. Oh, here maybe? Nope. Because this one is still... This has both of these. Oh, the same trick I used here, right? One of these 3, but also one of these 2. So not this. Does that help? I feel like that should help. Unclear whether or not that helps. And then this I'll have to get by inference here. Distressing. One of these 2, so not this. I could probably do the same thing here, right? One of these 2. So one of these 2, so not this. 3! Distressing. One of these 2, so both of these? I will also have to get this by inference. Heck! So many things I will have to infer. How am I supposed to do anything with this? One of these 3, I just have to guess? No. None of these can be bombs. That's how I figure it out. We mark off a bunch of different grays elsewhere. None of these are bombs, and then I have clues about the C's. Probably. Probably. Likely. Alright. I think we need to go into draw mode and start making numbers. Making the numbers work. We have 1 here, guaranteed. So there's 6 left. We have... at least 1 across these. Maybe 2, but at least 1. So 5 left. We have 3 across these. So 2 left. We have 1 across these 2. So 1 left. Can I reliably say that there's between these 2 a bomb? Can I do that? Maybe this is the wrong one to use? Maybe I can't do that? Here, right? 1 across these 2. Oh, wait. 1 across these 2 means this 3 can actually just mark bombs, right? Hang on. Yeah, 1 of these 2, which means 1 of these 2, which means both of these are bombs. Which means I have the information. It is mine. all of the information is mine. One of these three and one of these two, so not this one. Which means this one and this one. A. And now distress. Distress? No. Zero distress. Nothing is distressing. That's a bomb. There we go. So one of these two, and one of it exactly this, actually. And now nothing in gray is okay. Good. That's what we needed. There is one more bomb total, and the only thing that satisfies everything is this. Woo! Puzzles. I feel smart. This is why I play these games. I play these games in order to feel smart. And you know what? It's working. They've got me figured out. I am being marketed to. What is next on the list? Lopsided. I agree. This is probably lopsided. 4, huh? Four? Oh, the ones and twos is where the real action is. Right? One of these three, and this needs 2, so this has to be a bomb. You pick games that are too hard for you, make you feel like a feeble-minded fool. You know, to each their own, Kellerman. If this is what makes you happy, if this is what brings you joy, then more power to you. One of these two, so not this. 4. What are these numbers? They do keep throwing numbers at me. The only games I play that make me feel dumb are the ones where I miss obvious levers or buttons. Which is every game with an obvious lever or button. But I do it for you, chat. I persist nonetheless. Now I kind of feel dumb, though. Somewhere here. Oh no, we have ones and twos again. I have access to the ones and twos. No more than one of these two, so this has to be a bomb. Exactly one of these two, so not this or this. That's a bomb. You got the ones and twos again. This is working out pretty well. One of these three. So one of these, no more than one of these two. So that's a bomb. And now we can go back the other direction. Exactly one of these two. So not this. Perfect. No more than one of these two. So exactly one of these two. So exactly one of these two. So not this. Yeah, okay. I agree. All of this seems to be correct information. Only one of the A's. Oh, one of these two, so not this. There we go. One of these three. So that's a bomb, and that's not a bomb. Is it the 2? Is that the answer? Is that where my information comes next? Is it the 4? One of these two, one of these two, so 2 of these 5? That's insufficient. Oh, it's the 3. One of these two, and one of these two, which means exactly one of these two. Ding! And none of these. Man, Undertale had so many good songs, and then also DM Dokuro just wrote a banger of a remix album. You may or may not know this about the music I like, but wow, is this music the music I like? One of these two, so one of these 4. It's still not specific enough. Of these 3, does that help? I don't know that that helps. I think that doesn't help yet. I think we are currently unhelped. One of these 2, so 2 of these 3. That doesn't help. Because it could be these 2, or it could be these 2, or it could be these 2. So that gives us like 2/3 chance that this is a bomb, but 66% is not 100%. It's a thing that I have learned over the course of my many years of playing games. Sometimes numbers. Maybe this 4 is a thing I can do something with? Like exactly 2 of these? So across the rest of them exactly 2? It's not enough. If I knew this were not a bomb, that would get me a lot of information. But I don't know that this is not a bomb. You've not heard this mix before? This is a pretty good one. Also, the entirety of the album this is from is just full of amazing songs. The Bone Trestle remix, also especially good. Just very, very Bone Trestle. Most of DM Dokuro's stuff is actually harder than this, which is also like a good direction to lean. If you are into that sort of thing, which it turns out I am. I am into that sort of thing. He's done a few other remix albums too. He did a remix of Aquaria? Aquatica? Subnautica? Something. There's a bunch of boss themes that he did for one game that sounded something watery. I don't actually know what game it was. Anyway, yeah, check out DM Dokuro on Bandcamp is what I'm saying. The upshot of this, the point I'm trying to make, is check out DM Dokuro's Bandcamp. And I'm not going to guarantee that you won't be disappointed, but I think it likely that you won't be disappointed. Let's see. One of these 4... Oh, here's the trick. There's definitely something here. One of these 4, which means one of these 2... Calamity original game. Yeah. It's Calamity is a mod for one of the whichever one of those games is the actual game that I was talking about. Aquaria or Aquatica or Subnautica or something. It's some like total conversion mod. Or maybe just extra bosses mod. I don't. The details are not clear. I sure haven't played it. My only exposure to it is by listening to DM Dokuru's music. Man, I thought I had something here, and now I don't have something here. I really thought I had it. I kind of do? No more than one of these two. Right? Which means 2 of these 3? That doesn't help. God damn it. This is so close to being good. Alright, we're going into draw mode, so I can kind of piece together this information in a way that's hopefully more useful. Right? Exactly one of these 4. Exactly one of these 2. So that means 1 or 2 here for this 3. Right? Because 2 of these 4. Two of these 4. And it's 1 or 2 of these. Maybe, no, it can't be 2 of these because there's 1 over here. So exactly one of these 2. Aha! Exactly one of these 2 and exactly one of these 2, which means both of these are open. Was that enough? Was that good? Was that sufficient? Exactly one of these 2, exactly one of these 2, exactly one of these 2, so neither of these. I think the album that I got the remixes off of was Underground Radio. I'm not sure what Untouched Radio is. But that sounds like something I should go back and listen to. One of these 2, so both of these necessarily. Ah, great. Now we are in business. Now business is occurring. Finally some business. It has been so long. For decades, I lay languishing, awaiting business. And here we are, all of the business I could possibly ask for. Wow, it's really just opening up the entire thing, isn't it? Am I gonna have to think again at all during this process? Like, for the rest of this? Okay, no, I have to think again now. It happened. Two, 2, 3, 1. That does, in fact, add up to 8, so that's good. Three here, huh? One of these 2. 2 of these 3. So one of these 2. No more than one of these 3. So that and this has to be a bomb. One of these 2 exactly, so not this. One of these 3, so bomb. It's not bomb. One of these 2. One of these 3. One of these 2, so not bomb. One of these 2. 2 of these 3, so not that one. All 3 remaining bombs touch this square. Cool. Wow, that came together. That ended up working out. Good progress, good progress. Happy about how this is going. Oh god, I'm no longer happy about how this is going. There's a 0 here. That's cool. That's a good start. That is a start of some kind. Oh, the adjacency is different. Okay, so bomb, bomb, bomb. Oh, that wasn't correct. That wasn't correct. I made that up. I was lying. This should not be opened. Can I unopen this? Terrible news. Only one of these A's is a bomb? Amazing. No more than one of these two, so this has to be a bomb. One of these two is a bomb. So neither of these and neither of these. Guess it was that one. Guess that was the bomb. Oh, 3 C's. Okay, so not this, not this. Additional information. What additional information do I have? Could be both of these. That's not impossible. 6 of these 8, huh? That's a lot of bombs. I shouldn't know this. So I'm still leaving this alone. Because I shouldn't know this. 3 of these 4, and that's all of the D's, so not this one. 1 of these 2, no more than 1 of these 2, huh? Exactly 1 of these 2, actually. Okay. This is good progress. 1 of these A's, so none of the rest of the A's. Did I click this? I should not have clicked this. Oh, I clicked this, and it opened it up. Haha, sneaky. 1 of these 2, so not that one. Oh, well then. I still don't know this. I still don't know out here. 2 of these B's, so 1 of these 3 B's. Heck. 1 of these 2. No, that doesn't help. It's not real. Where is my next piece of information? What do you think, chat? Where's my next piece of information? I want it to be one of the rows, since we haven't really touched any of those yet. But, it's not looking super good. It's not looking like I will get a lot out of these rows. What is this game? This is Tametsi. This is a Minesweeper-like that is fully logical. No guessing is required. And involves many, many variations on Minesweeper and Minesweeper-adjacent kind of puzzle solving. The one big thing that's different from Minesweeper here is I have these numbers on rows and columns. Those indicate how many mines are in that row or column. Otherwise, I am mostly playing Minesweeper with non-standard squares right now. Oh, and a different adjacency rule, which is maybe relevant. It could be both of these and not this. Could be both of these and not these, and then it would be just these three. Yeah, it's totally the same. Those are regions. So within this B region, I know 3 of the Bs are bombs. So if I had information about like 2 of the Bs, then I could maybe make inferences about the rest of the Bs. Same with the Cs. I know exactly 3 bombs exist in the C region. And then the A's and D's we've already opened. So that information is here but useless. Where is it? Where is my information? What's good? 3 of these 4. Does that help? I don't think so. Two of these 4. 2 of these 3. Yeah, still could easily be both of these. Or this and this, for example. Or these 2, if this wasn't there. Those would all be legal. Really feel like I should be able to do something out here, and I haven't quite been able to put it together. At least one of these 2. So 2 of these 4. Could it be both of these 2? What if it was both of these 2? Then one of these 4. At least 1. So at most 2. Is that helpful? We can't have all 3 of them out here. One of these 2 must be a bomb. Maybe both of these are a bomb. Still don't think that guarantees me anything. Blind playthrough, implying that I am blind? Wouldn't be wrong. I've certainly missed obvious things in the past. That's not news. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 of these 8. 1 in this column? Exactly 1? I don't have enough information to make use of that. Two here, I still don't have enough information to make use of that either. 3 here? Can I do something with that? At least 1 here. At least 1 here. At least 1 here. So yes. In fact, so it must be exactly 1 here. Bomb. Exactly 1 here. Bomb, bomb. Exactly 1 here. Bomb, bomb. And then everything else in this row that is not those things that I mentioned is not a bomb. Cool, we're making it happen. I finally found progress. Took me long enough. Well, that really took a while, though. One of these 2. One of these two, so not this. Hey! Ah, Minesweeper. Hello, hyphenated. I'm still on one of these two, so one of these three. Might be two of these two, which is the 0 of these three. Is 0 of these three possible? 0 of these three is not possible, because this needs at least one of these two, maybe both. But at least one of these two, and at least one of these two, means not that. This one has been tricksy. This one has been a little more difficult to put together. Two here. This doesn't actually help. There's still a bunch of open stuff. Two here? Is that helpful? Oh. Exactly one of these two. And exactly one of these two. So this has to be a bomb. No more than one of these two, so this must be a bomb. Okay. Alright, and now I don't have to pretend I don't know something that I know. Life is good. Someday this will be useful. This 4. I want to believe. There's still this, so we have to resolve something up here before we can figure this out. Oh. Well then. Two in this column, huh? It can't be both of these, no more than one of these, so this has to be a bomb. And then exactly one of these is a bomb, so this can't be a bomb. Amazing. 3 of the remaining 5 Bs are bombs, huh? That's a lot of bombs. That is some number of bombs. It's maybe not a lot of bombs. It's just, you know, a few bombs. Two of these 3, huh? Does this give me actual information? 2 of these 3? 2 of these 3, so one of these 2. Which means 1 or 0 of these 3. Does that mean anything? Is that real? Is that real information? I don't even know if that's real information. I think it is real information. I don't know if it's useful information. Both real and intractable. Oh. Well, that's something. That's good. That changes things. Does that change things? 2 of these 3, which means at least one of these 2. Yeah, okay. 2 of these 3, so at least one of these 2. So at most, one of these 2, which means exactly one of these 2. So 1 and 1, but we need 3 for B, so that's a bomb. Yeah, one of these 2, one of these 2, which means not that or that. Okay. One of these 2, so that's a bomb. One of these 2, so that's not a bomb. These 2. One of these 2. One of these 2, one of these 2, so that's not a bomb. Because gray count. Not that it helped. Oh, no, it totally helped. Whew. Ended up coming together. This is a tricky one. Was it tricky? A little tricky? Minorly tricky? Had some tricks to it? Oh boy! Well, here we go. Alright, let's do a thing. Let's continue to do a thing. At least one of these 2 A's, and at least one of these 2 A's. Hang on. I need notes for this. At least one of these 2. This is awful. I don't like this color, and also I don't like the drawing I made. I need a color that, like, differentiates from all of these colors. Orange or something? Sure. So one of these 2, at least one of these 2, at least one of these 2, and at least one of these 2, which means exactly one of all of these, right? Exactly, because there's only 4 A's. So this is not a bomb, first off. Second off, all of these interior ones, this CB pair, this CB pair, this CB pair, this CB pair, they are all bombs. They have to be. And then exactly one of each of these A pairs is a bomb. Cool. That's progress. That's something. Something is happening here. Things are looking really symmetrical here. This is interesting. The question marks appear to be breaking up groups of like 3 things next to each other, except we have these 3 next to each other. So maybe that's helpful? Unless the question marks are breaking up things that would make it too obvious, right? So this is a 0, this is a 2, etc., etc. I'm not going to guess what the question marks are, though. I'm just going to continue playing the game the way I know how. Oh, hey, look. This is a bomb. Rad. 1 B? Only one remaining B is a bomb? Which is one of these two? So this is a bomb, and exactly one of these Bs is a bomb, and every other B is not a bomb? Fantastic news. 3. 3? Alright, well, I guess that clears that up, doesn't it? One of these three. One of... Wait. One of these two? Do we know one of these two A's here? Hang on, no. This is the A pair and this is the A pair. So no. One of... I mean, no more than one of these two. But it could also be 0 of these, right? It could be this one and this C. We have a guaranteed C here. A guaranteed C here. That's a bomb. 1, 2. So out of all of these remaining C's, exactly one of them is a bomb, and it could be this one? Wild. It's not, but it could have been. Okay, so now we're counting C's, right? One of these two. One of these three. One of these three. Which leaves both of the centers open. One of these 6? Are you kidding me? Which means both of these edges. And this has been here the whole time. This has been here the whole time and I haven't paid attention. Easy. Oh yeah, absolutely. If I had a pair of shades, I'd be putting them on. That's how easy this was. We have the same trick with the 1s and 2s here, the edges and the corners. Very minesweepery trick, my favorite trick. And that's the end of the trick. 7 of these 10. One of these 2 B's, so we're almost ready to open up all the B's. And the row numbers and column numbers have no information about B's. Terrible. Ooh. What do you have for me? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. One of these 2, so not this, which means this. One of these 2, so not this, which means this. One of these 2. One of these 2, so not that, which means bomb in the center again. And again, bomb in the center. Exactly. There's only one way for this to work. One of these 3. So no more than one of these 2, which means bomb. which means not bomb. One of these two. We're almost ready. Almost ready on the bees. It's so close. Oh, I can do the same thing here. None of these are bombs. With the corner trick. My other favorite trick. Six of those 8. Nope. One of these two, so not this. So not that. Cool. Alright, well, if you say so. One of those two. Wait, that means I can open up the rest of the bees. I did it. We figured it out. We finally found the other bee bomb. Feels good, man. Three across here, huh? Well, it can't be all 3 of these, right? In fact, no more than one of these 4? So this needs to be both of these to be a bomb? One of these 2. So that has to be a bomb. So that has to be a bomb. One of these 2. So that has to be a bomb. Wow. Just look at that progress. Look at that forward motion. Look at how much I'm accomplishing. Feeling really productive today. No more than one of these 3. So bomb, bomb, one of these 2, so not a bomb. One of these 2, so not a bomb. What can I do about this? One of these is a bomb. One of these A's. At least one, maybe both. I don't know. I don't have any information about A's. At least one of these 2 is a bomb. One of these is a bomb, so 2 of these 3 is a bomb. So one of these A's is a bomb. Hold on. One of those 2. At least one of those 2. At least one of these 2. Can I determine that this is a bomb and all the other A's are open? No. 2 here doesn't quite get that done, does it? Can I use this information in any other way? I don't think so. Alright, but there is things I can do over here. No more than one of these 2 because of this one. So bomb. At least that's finally resolved. I say finally. As if I had been thinking about this section for a while. I had just not been looking at this section for a while. One of these two. So one of these two. One of these two. So neither of these two. Which means that's a bomb. Alright, now the B's are resolved. So that's good. One of these two. So bomb. Aha! Alright, so what did we determine? One of these two, one of these two, and one of these two. So not that. 4? Heavens to Betsy. No more than one of these two. No more than one of these two. Which means bomb, bomb. Exactly one of these two, so not that. And exactly one of these two, so not that. Needs 2, one of these two, and one of these two. And that's a bomb. Great. 2 of these A's are a bomb, so this can't be a bomb. Because 2 A's. And if only 2, then this has to be a bomb. 1? This has to be a bomb. Lots of 1s left. 1 here. 1 here. So 1 here in this column. 1 in this column actually gives me all of the information I need. Because it can't be 2. Yeah. Ooh, I got an achievement for that. I'm an encroacher. I have encroached. Oh my god. Wow, Steam Overlay is having problems with this game. Thanks, Steam Overlay. Cool. Moving on. Disabled Steam Overlay like 10 years ago and never missed it. I use it for one purpose, which is to check what the heck achievement I just got whenever I get an achievement. And that has been a useful feature for me. That is a thing that I would like to have available. If I could get that feature without having Steam Overlay, then I would turn off Steam Overlay as well. You don't even see the fact that you got an achievement? Oh, no, I like having that. I like knowing things. I like knowledge. Why don't you like knowing that you got an achievement? Wow, everything? Wild. This goes into the negatives. That's cute. That's cute. I didn't know it did that. Zero. Hell yeah. You don't like achievements in general, you would prefer they don't exist. Okay. I don't think I have negative opinions about achievements. There's a little bit of a serotonin boost in like, oh, I accomplished something. Or at least I accomplished something that the game's creators felt was worth accomplishing. I almost started clicking things on here because I forgot that the B's weren't already closed off. I'm having to like constantly double check here to make sure that things are connected in the way that I think they are connected and not connected in the ways that I don't think they are connected. The octagons really mess with me. On top of like, sometimes it is hard to tell that colored things are still real. Why don't you like it? Oh, you mentioned it. You find them disruptive. If you, even aside from like pop-ups being disruptive, is there more to it than that? Like, do they somehow like, does knowing achievements exist reduce your enjoyment of the game in some way? Got another 0. Heck yeah. Or maybe knowing the specificness of some of the achievements? Knowing that they exist, but you don't have to be exposed to them is fine. Like, okay, so like, knowing about a specific achievement reduces your enjoyment of the game because it's, what, an externally imposed goal? Like, why is it a problem that achievements? What about achievements reduces your enjoyment of the game? I think I might actually have to stop and think about the puzzle now. How distressing. I was doing so well. Being condescended to when you get an achievement for something trivial. Okay, sure. I guess, like, achievements that are there for tracking purposes, which is a real thing. Like, number of people that got this achievement tells you something about how people are playing your game. Definitely means that you are getting achievements for something that doesn't feel like an achievement. You like achievements as long as they're done properly. Yeah, I think achievements have, maybe expanded from what I would consider their original purpose, which is to mark a difficult feat as having been accomplished. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually think about things now. I didn't want to have to do that. Alright, oh no, not yet. I don't need to think about things yet. No, I still need to think about things. This is 3. God damn it. Octagons. No, wait. I found a 4? Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. I don't need to think about things yet. Okay, now I gotta think about things. Now I am required to apply intelligence. You don't feel any need to have difficult things you've accomplished be automatically detected and recorded in a database. Okay, that's fair. I like achievements as a marker for what developers thought were worth achieving. I especially like achievements that indicate to me completion, because then I know I don't have to look out for more of whatever thing, you know, collected all of X kind of MacGuffin. Like, now I know I have them all, and that feels good to me. Which could be tracked via in-game methods, as opposed to being tracked via an achievement. But I like that kind of tracking. I like having that information. Six Bs? That's a little strong. I don't think I can do anything with that yet. Five of these 6. So not these 2. And yes, these 4. Cool. 0! Great. Ah, thank God. I can stop thinking again. Briefly. turn off my brain and click buttons for a second. No, that's a lot of things. This is also a lot of things. This is also a lot of things. This is a lot of things. This is some number of things. Nope, it's not next to the 1. Too bad. 4 of these 6. 1 of these 2. So 3 of these 4. Which is almost something, but still not quite something. Something cool or funny or unique happens in the game and an achievement pops up about it. It makes the event itself feel less cool, funny, and unique to you. I see. Okay, that makes sense to me, actually. I can appreciate that. Because there is a certain sense of uniqueness to events that is removed when it's, like, marked as an event that was expected. Okay. Nine and 5. 9 A's? I think I still can't do anything with that yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sure, Devinock. This could be organic chemistry. Not that I took OChem in college. Here? Is here the answer? Is here where I'm supposed to go next? I feel like it's this 5, but the 2s on either side don't engender any particular sense of confidence here. Three of those 6. It's not helpful, is it? Because that doesn't tell me anything about these 2 specifically. Maybe from the bottom? 3 of these 2? Or 2 of these 3, rather? Two of these 3. Which means at minimum 1 of these. Which means at most 1 of these. Okay, good. We got there. Which means all of these. Which means both of these. Very cool. Very cool. What are your opinions on achievements, Devinock? We were talking about achievements before you came in. Good, bad, indifferent? Do you like seeing achievement pop-ups? Do you wish achievements didn't exist? You like seeing them pop up? You like feeling rewarded by getting an achievement? 1 of these 3. So this has to be a mom. And this has to not be a mom. I missed that it was still open and connected. I hope this being open and connected didn't affect my logic here. I hope I wasn't wrong by virtue of this thing existing. I think I wasn't wrong. I think I was still right as opposed to lucky. Seeing them will encourage you to try things you hadn't considered. That happens to me too sometimes. I try not to look at achievements until I'm decently through a game because I don't want achievements to spoil things for me. And then sometimes I'll see achievements for things that I missed, like things that I had to do at an earlier part of the game, and it's like, oh, I wish I had done that. I wish I had known about that thing. Which I'm not sure if that is detrimental to my experience with a game. It's possible it's detrimental to my experience in a game. One of these two. So one of these two, which means this has to be a bomb. One of these three. One of these two, this could still be anything. I'm not ready to think about this part yet. One of these two and one of these two, and I'm still not ready to think about this part either. Maybe once I know more about bees, I'll be able to figure this part out. So let's go up here. One of these two. So one of these four. No more than one of these four. And you need... So this needs to be a bomb. So one of these two and one of these two. So neither of these. Cool. I'm not sure where my next step is. Two of these three. Here. One. I don't think that quite helps yet. Yeah, we got these like small enclaves that need solving, and I don't quite know how to get anywhere with them. It's like a few too many options. Kind of waiting for more information to reveal itself as a result of other things I do. So I guess I'll have to go do other things, which is probably something here. Imagine something here can make itself known. At least one of these two. Maybe both. So no more than one of these two. Maybe neither. Which means 3 or 4 of these 4. Does that tell me anything? If 4, then 0 of these two. So both of these could be, but also still one of these could be and one of these could be. Like, one here and both of these. Both of these is still legal, right? Both of these. So 0 of these. So all 4 of these. That seems plausible. But, like, at least one of these, right? So not 0 of these. So there's no way it could be both of these. Is that helpful? Knowing that? 1 or 0 of these. 1 or 2 of these. This is still not quite coming together. Seven A's? 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 of these 8 are bombs? Okay, this is where we're going. This is the information I have been looking for. No more than one of these 2 could be a bomb. So all the rest of the A's must be bombs. And if one of these is a bomb, then this is not a bomb. All right. Well, that gives me progress. With 0 already. Amazing. Okay. All right. Now we are cooking, as they say. What did I do? Oh, this had both of these. No. God, these octagons. These octagons are screwing me up. All right, we're resetting. Because I can't take that. I can't handle that. I'm starting over. From the very beginning. That's all right. There was a bunch of stuff I didn't have to think about at the beginning. The beginning was easy. There's a lot of not thinking here, which is my favorite kind of not thinking. Which is my favorite kind of thinking? Not sure if that's true. Now I have the 1 and 5 here, which is great. Double check in each location. Make sure that I am actually clicking on the thing that I mean to be clicking. Dangerous. Everything is still dangerous. Okay, and this was where I had to start thinking again, right? This is like the 5 and 2 here was the trick. Something here with the 5s and the 2s. How did I get to this again? It's probably starting here. And then this. At least one of here, so no more than one of here. So that, and then exactly one of these. Which means exactly one of these, which means neither of these. No, which means exactly one, which means both of these are bombs. That's what that means. Yes. Okay. And this is where this gets left off. Until I figure out B's. Cool. All right. Forward motion. We're recovering. Nature is healing. And then here we are with the 8 A's, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Something is different. What is different? What did I do? This can still be resolved. This, yes. Bomb. Ba, 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 ba. Something here, like I know this opened up because of reasons? How did I know this opened up? Here, does this tell me anything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is different. I was in a situation like this, and the numbers were different. They changed the numbers. They changed the numbers on me. Oh, I didn't actually go through here. This needs to be resolved. I forgot all of the things over here. The bottom right was more resolved. Yes, 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 yes. The numbers have not changed. It is I who have made a mistake. No more than one of these 4, so no more than one of these 2, so this is a bomb. Exactly one of these 2, so not this and not this. There we go. Now the numbers are correct. Now the numbers have resolved themselves. Yes, 7 out of 8. This is what we were looking for. So bomb, 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 bomb. Okay, so now I'm pretty much back where I expected to be. And then I'm here. Yes, okay. This one, that's a bomb. That's a bomb, that's not a bomb. Great, great, superb, superb. This is everything it's supposed to be. All right, well, now we are ahead of the game. For some value of ahead of the game. One of these 2 is a bomb, so this can't be a bomb. I still don't know about this business, but eventually we'll come back to that. Ba, 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 ba. One of these 3, so both of these, so one of these 2, so not this. At least one of these 2. And then this one, do I have at least one of these 2? Maybe. Alright, time to go through the business again here, right? At least one of these 2. Which means at most one of these 2. Could be 0. But if 1, 3, 4. If 0, that means both of these. But if 1, that means at least one of these 2. So we know at least one of these 2, and at least one of these 2, which means all of the other Bs are open. Double check, because octagons are scary. Alright, it can't be 0 of these, because only one of these can be a bomb. They can't both be bombs, right? So one of these, and one of these, which means those are bombs. If 0 of these, then both of these, but that's illegal. So one of these 2, which means one of these 2, which means both of these are bombs. Which, I mean, I'm following the 0 here. Great. Great. Dangerous. One more gray. Oh, there's only one gray. No, there's another gray. Ah! Does this have to be a bomb? It doesn't, right? It could be bomb here. One of these 2 is a bomb. One of these 2 is a bomb? One of these 2 is a bomb, so this must be a bomb. Okay. Okay. Whew. Man, I screwed up the puzzle once, so I was in mortal terror that I was going to screw up again. But it all came together. Everything came together. Everything is fine now. Why is this puzzle titled Vaguely French? What is French about this puzzle? I'm not even talking about actual French. What is, like, stereotypically French about this? The flag? Does it look like a French flag? Because it's red and blue and gray? And white, I guess. Did it look like a French flag? Do I even know what the French flag looks like? Am I that ignorant about flags? Oh, the French flag is the vertical stripes. Wait, what did this puzzle look like? I mean... Okay. It's very vague, but I'll take that as vaguely French. You see baguettes everywhere. You should probably have lunch, buddy. That might that might be your problem. You actually just ate? Do you need to eat more, or do you just need a baguette? What is this? Geary. Whoa. Whoa! You thought the octagons were bad before. Now the octagons are out to get you. Lace feels French? I'm not sure I can accept that. I'm not sure that's correct. Lace feels high class. Baguettes are delicious. Baguettes are delicious. You're not wrong. Sometimes you just need a baguette, even if you did just eat. You know? That's totally fair. What the actual hell? Why? Stealth. Oh, just so it'll be purple instead of gray? Sure. Sure. Alright. Fine. Fine. We can play this game. What? The fuck? What did I... How was that? What happened here? Oh, I did the wrong thing. That should not have been a right click. That should have been a left click. That's alright. It's early. It's early. We can reset. One of these is a bomb, which means this can't be a bomb, right? One of these is a bomb. One of these can't be a bomb. Yes, okay. Man, I was doing the thing where I was just playing Minesweeper and it was easy. And then oh, because I had a 1 and 2 and I got confused. That's what happened. That's what happened. And then I get here, one of these is a bomb, this can't be a bomb. That's how that works. Yeah. Alright, everything's cool. Everything's cool. One of these is guaranteed a bomb, so... At some point, I'm going to need these row and column number information, right? At some point? It'll be a while, though, it seems. One of these has to be a bomb. This is a 3. Do I actually get to mark a bomb now? No more than one of these 3? Which leaves 2 other things? So they have to be bombs? Amazing. Really? What did I do wrong? Oh, this had that. I looked at this and I thought it only had these two, and I was wrong. God damn it. Why? This is really not working out for me. I'm trying to do the thing where I just play Minesweeper, and then I'm just being bad at Minesweeper. How is that okay? I'm just gonna be bad at Minesweeper. I shouldn't be allowed to play this game. But what if instead of being bad at Minesweeper, I was good at Minesweeper? Man, that would be great. I would love it if I was good at Minesweeper. One of these two is a bomb, so this is not a bomb. Following in my footsteps. Pressing buttons that I believe are correct. And this is where we stop here. And then I go over here, and I don't do the thing that I just did, which was wrong. Instead, I do a different thing, which is correct. Instead, I do a correct thing. What if I did a correct thing? Okay, so I know this is a bomb. Only one of these three. Which means only one of these two. Right? Like, let's go through the logic and make sure I'm not being a dumb. Only one of these three. So only one of these two. And this needs to be a bomb. One of these two, which means not this. All right. Now the show can continue. We are once again allowed to play the game. One of these two, and one of these two. Almost halfway, are we? Unclear. One of these two, so this is open. No more than one of these two, and no more than one of these two. So exactly one of these two, which means these are open, and exactly one of these two, which means this is open. Big numbers. One of these two. So one of these four. Here. One of these two. So two of these four. I don't think it's coming together yet. I think it is not yet coming together. One of these two. So two of these three. Two of these three. Does that help? I think that does not yet help. Somewhere here, there is useful information. Oh, here it is. One of these two, right? Which means not these two. Which means this one. One of those two, so not that. One of those two, so not that. One of those two, one of these two, and no more than one of these three, so that's a bomb. One of these two and one of these two, so not this. Heck yeah. One of these two, so not that. This does actually work now. I don't have like a hidden third thing here that's messing me up like over here. This is actually just these two are bombs. I'm not doing the thing wrong. I think I'm not doing the thing wrong. I think I'm doing the thing correctly. I think I am correctly playing Minesweeper. Everything is coming up Minesweeper. Everything is coming up Minesweeper? Many things are coming up Minesweeper. One of these two. So not that. Two of those three. So one of these three. It's not helpful. You thought it was going to be helpful, but it was me, Dio. Where is the next piece of useful information? If I were useful information, where would I be? In plain sight and obvious, because that's the easiest kind of useful information to miss. 1 in this entire column? Amazing. Five out of 8 here. That's neat. One of these two, so 4 out of 6. That's also neat. I think I can't do anything here. Want to be able to do something here, but I don't think it's coming together. So where is my next useful piece of information? Hey, Rubber Ducky. Thank you for the bits. Very much appreciated. Here? Is there something here? Whoa, it's that time! I understand. I understand now. And thank you for the resubscription, Rubber Ducky. Very much appreciated. Welcome back to the adventuring party. Happy to have you around. Right? I was looking at the 53 bits and I was like, well, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, but that's an odd number to have. And then the subscription notification popped up. So it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. And it's a prime number of bits also, which fits with the prime sub. I suspect that is a coincidence, but I'm happy to dig deeper into this if you like. I'm following along here. I'm having a time. What is going on? Is there something here? Oh, here it is. One of these two, which means none of these. All right, great. It's coming together. Probably. It was in fact hiding in plain sight, right? As expected. One of these two, which means one of these two, which means not this. One of these two, and one of these two. So that's a bomb. Maybe there's something here now? One of these two, which means one of these two, which means not this. Question marks! I was playing Minesweeper, man! Why you gotta do this to me? Now what? I've been following the chains of like adjacent ones that worked out really well, like because of this has information. But when the numbers go up, that makes it harder. Yo, Shadowed Mage! Thank you so much for the continued support. Welcome back to the adventuring party. Happy to have you around. Pazuzus? Yeah, we're doing Pazuzus. We're solving Pazuzus. What is a Pazuzu again? I think it's a Final Fantasy monster. But, like, it's got to be based in real life something, right? Some legend or something. That's how Final Fantasy does. 66 is not a prime number. And that is also not a prime subscription. Your theory is holding up so far, Cyber Benny. Or rather, Iron Force's theory. Yet to be disproven. Is Senna here? They could tell me. They probably could tell me. The nice thing about numerology is it doesn't need to make too much sense. That's true. If it made too much sense, you could use it to predict things, and that would be a problem. Because then you could be proven wrong. I feel like there's something going on here, but ancient Mesopotamian deity? That sounds about right. I'd be willing to believe that. Which would also fit with it being a D&D monster. One of these two. So two of these three. Two of these three. So one of these two. This question mark is stymieing me. I am being stymied. Alright, time to break out the pens. Oh. You're right. I forgot to play Tametsi. I was all set for these to just, like, never matter until the very end. And suddenly they matter, right? So if two of these three, which means exactly one of these two, then the rest of this column is open. You gotta pay attention to all of the information you've given. Otherwise, stuff like that other garbage happens. One of these, so this is a bomb. One of these two. And one of these two. And at least one of these two. But that means exactly one of these two. So that's got to be a bomb. And the rest of these got to be opened. Very cool. Now I get to play Minesweeper again. Briefly. Pazuzu was the demon in The Exorcist. Okay. Alright, that sounds like a believable pop culture fact. Presumably any ancient deity, Mesopotamian or otherwise, is a demon in Catholic literature. As far as the Catholics are concerned, they're all demons. $15? We there yet? I think we're not there yet. 522? I think we're not there yet either. $522 is 9? So 6 out of these remaining? We might be there. 1, so 5 left. 1, so 4 left. 1, so 3 left. 2, so 1 left. Oh, but this has overlap, so I can't actually mark these. What if I marked 2 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, everything still has overlap. Not quite, not quite. It's almost coming together. Very close. Too bad. Sometimes I try to play Tametsi and it doesn't work. I should just be playing Minesweeper instead. Really should just be playing Minesweeper instead. Five, 6, 7, 8. So 3 down here. 1, 2, 3. Great. And this hasn't changed. This has been the same the entire time. Which means, in theory, this is solvable with no other information. Are you for real? One. So 4 out of these 5. 1. That doesn't help. Does it? Maybe I can get something out of this? That middle one was a 2 for most of the puzzle. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I must be able to get something out of this. No more than 1 out of these. Which means if 1 here, and no more than 1 out of these 2, this has to be a bomb. Right? That has to be a bomb. Do I need exactly one of these? Yes, I need exactly one of these. 3 of these 4. So 1 of these 2. So 1 of these 4. One of these 4, which means exactly one of these 2. Three of these 4, which means exactly one of these 2. Where does that take me? Where does exactly one of these 2 take me? That might... That's 3, so we're down to 4 left. Now we're down to 3 left. Now we're down to 2 left, which is here and here. This did not quite come together in a way that I find useful. These 2 are part of the same group, though. Does that mean something? Yeah, I have countdown mode. Countdown mode is great. It means I don't have to... It means my errors will not be because I messed up basic math. I have plenty of other ways to get errors without messing up basic math. Too used to not count down? Yeah, I understand. I fully understand. That's how I thought about the game too before playing it. And then like 3 puzzles in, I was like, I'm gonna try countdown mode. And I never looked back. It has been fantastic. Alright, here. At least one of these 2. Which means no more than one of these 4. Which doesn't help me. Not with this information. Big sigh. With this 4, knowing one of these 2, and no more than one of these 2 have to be bombs. Aha. Aha. Yes, the rows are countdown too. Exactly one of these. Feel like I can do something with this 3 here. Is it true? Can I do something with this 3 here? One of these 2, which means one of these 2. One of these 4. One of these 2. One or 2 or 0. 0, 1, or 2 of these 2. damn it. Two of these three, though. Two of these three. Is there a set of two of these that's not legal? I mean, maybe if I start clicking things, but like... Could be these two. Could be these two. Could be these two. Yeah, nothing's telling me that those won't work. Exactly one of these two. Oh, here. Exactly one of these two, which means this is a bomb. That took a while. That was a while coming. One of these two, one of these two, one of these four, and one of these two. One of these, this feels like the important part here. One of these two. Which means only one of these five. I need to visualize this again. Only one of these five. This all got resolved. Now it's just one of these two. Only one of these five. So necessarily one or two of these. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Because this one's included, which changes things. Still hasn't come together yet. Exactly one of these five. One, two, two, like that works. Does this tell me anything? This one here? Maybe this is the secret? We already know one of these two. One of these five. So this is the same information here. Like, if it's this one, then it's that one. If it's this one, then it's one of these four. I have to be missing something super obvious right now. Like, there's no way that this is this hard to put together. There has to be something here that I'm just not paying attention to. There it is. Two of these four. We have it here. Two of these four, which means two of these four, which means neither of these. God, that took decades. I could feel my life leaving my body as I died of old age over the course of this puzzle. Sometimes... Stealth is the right name for this puzzle, by the way. God. Squared square. I hate it. It's small. Why is it small? Alright, one of the A's, one of the D's, and one of the C's. Trixie. Exactly 3 mines left. One of these 4, and one of these 4. Which doesn't help me with stuff that overlaps with. One of these 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. And again, there's nothing else that doesn't overlap. One of these four. Trixie. Do I have to do trial and error on this? I wouldn't think I would have to do trial and error. But the information is combining in such a way that's like, I want to do guesses. Middle one also touches the... Oh, so it does. One of the C's. Why is this a question mark? It should just be a 1. I know it's a 1. One of the C's. Does this help me in any way, visualizing this? Just look at all this overlap. This A has to be correct. Obviously, it's a bomb, because it satisfies so many grids. It's 1s everywhere. Both of these 1s touch these 3. Nothing is a superset, though. Right? Like, each of these 1s touches something that none of the other 1s touch. Not none of the other ones. But, like... Like, this touches the A on the side that this 1 doesn't. This touches this A that none of the other ones touch. This touches this C that this one doesn't. This touches this A that this one doesn't. Well, I don't even know how to start this. Let's see. No more than one of these 4. But it's all just 1s. It's not like I have a 2 to base anything off of. Like... Alright, if this were a bomb, then this would have to be a bomb. And then this could be a bomb. And that is, based on the information I currently have, a legal outcome. All three of these are satisfied, and this is satisfied. If this were a bomb, none of these are bombs. This I'll start writing this one down. If this were a bomb, this is open, this is open, this is open. All the A's are open. So we need to find a C and a D that can be a bomb. One of these two. With no information, nothing touches this C. This C could always be a bomb or not a bomb. It doesn't matter. Nothing touches this D either. This D can always also be a bomb or not a bomb. It doesn't matter. So whichever one of these I pick, like, this doesn't work. This process doesn't work. I can find a legal outcome for any of these. So let's start with the D's and C's. Because there's no A that's not touching. So, like, if this were a bomb, this is open, 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 so one of these D's is a bomb, and one of these A's is a bomb. Oh, this would need exactly this A to be a bomb. Open, bomb. This is also a legal outcome. No, this is not a legal outcome. If this is a bomb, not. This is a legal outcome. Yeah, the two D's and C's here with no information makes almost anything work, if I try and math it out this way. Bottom one doesn't touch anything. What? That was a contradiction. Did I miss it? Oh, yeah. If this is a bomb, then this has no bomb touching it. Because these two together, neither one of these supersets the one, but combined they do. So if anything satisfies both of these, it has to satisfy this. So because this satisfies both of these without satisfying the bottom one, it cannot be a bomb. There we go. And I did it from a principle instead of from guesses. Or rather, I developed a principle out of guesses, but still. Okay. Where does this lead us now? What has this opened up? A 2. A 2, dramatic. Well, it can't be both of the Ds. No more than one of these can be it. But it could be an A and a C still. Is there anything else that both of these touch? No. Too bad. Each principle can only be applied once. Two of these 4. No more than one of these. So at least one of these 2, this A and C. Does that help? At least one of these A and C? Could even be both of these A and C. Could it be both of these A and C? That's a good question. If this is a bomb, and this is a bomb, one of these 2 needs to be a bomb. This is not currently touching a bomb, so this could be a bomb. And we don't have any information about this. Alright, based on current information, this seems legal. They could both be bombs. At least one, if not both. Yes. One or 2 of these is a bomb, and 0 or 1 of these Ds is a bomb. If one of these Ds is a bomb, then both of these Ds are not bombs. I feel like I should be able to build another principle here, but I'm still on guesses for right now. I feel like there should be something still here with this one and this one together. ADA. ADA. AD, but also like C and D up here. One of these 2, right? Exactly one of these 2. Exactly one of these 2. What else do I know? 1 or 0 of these 2 Ds. One of these 2 I think doesn't help me. What does help me? What does this overlap this to? This 1. There's some overlap here. You think the 2 helps me? Suspicious question. I don't know about that. No more than one of these 2. Which means at least one of these 2. Yeah. No more than one of these 2, which means at least one of these 2. If both of these, this C and this D, then none of these, so this A. A, C, D, is that real? No, because that doesn't satisfy this. So not both of these. So exactly one of these, which means exactly one of these, which means not this. Sure. Thanks. We can do something similar here, right? With this one. No more than one of these, which means at least one of these. If both of these and 0 of these, that means this. DCA. Is that real? DCA? That does, in fact, satisfy my current requirements. So maybe. But one of these two is for sure a bomb. One of these two. Also, we have one of these 4, which doesn't help. We have one of these 3, which doesn't, I think still doesn't get me anywhere. Both of these is possibly legal, but at least one of these. So not at least one of these, right? Because it could be both of these and this. We determined that was a legal outcome, which I don't like. We know one of these two, so guaranteed one of these two. Exactly one of these two, so exactly one of these two. Which means exactly one of the remaining 5. But we also know exactly one of these 4. Which means this isn't a bomb. Hey! That is knowledge! One of these two is a bomb, so this A is not a bomb. Now what? One of these two, one of these 2, and one of these 3. Yes, I agree. That is correct. This is some subset of things. Does this being AD and this being ADC mean anything for me? Other than it being an attack damage carry? Top right A was not a bomb for a time. Left and bottom 1 only touch a D besides the A's. Oh, so one of them needs to be a D and one of them needs to be an A. And that resolves both of these in a way that means that this can never be a bomb. Okay, sure. That is another approach to the same thing. That is definitely a way to get there. We have an A or D here. And we have an A or D or C here. And we have a C or D here. If this is the A, we could still have DC. No, we can't. If this is the A, It can't be DC. So this can never be a bomb because it needs to be one of these two and it needs to be one of these two? Hold. I'm trying to put this together in a way that's not just, if this is a bomb, is it legal? One of these two is a bomb. And over here, one of these three is a bomb. Oh, this and this overlap, actually. Here we go. We have an overlap here. So yes, it does work the way I thought it did. And there's a better way to get to it. One of these three has to be a bomb. So this cannot be a bomb because this and this are like this is a superset of this. This has one of these three, so this is open. Great, great. We're getting there. One of the A's is a bomb, one of the D's and one of the C's. Where else do I have overlap now? Here. One of these two guaranteed a bomb, and this only touches one other thing, so that's guaranteed a bomb. One of these A or D, one of these A or D. If this A, then that D. If this A, then that D. One of these is illegal. Oh, this is only touching one now. So this has to be this D is a bomb. Wow, 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 wow. For all that there was like 4 squares, there was not a lot of things to touch in this puzzle. It was very difficult. That's really cool. Like, teasing out all the individual pieces of information required so much cross-referencing and, like, putting together information in ways that I hadn't before. That was very good. I liked it. Okay, and now we're back to playing Minesweeper. Probably. Maybe. This looks kind of intimidating, but it's got corners, which means it's easy. Four, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Oh, 3. Well, if you say so. I could probably do the same thing coming from the other side. I imagine I can figure this out. One of these two, so that's a bomb. One of these two, so that's a bomb. Anything that's a 3 is just bombs all the way across. One of these two, so one of these two, so one of these two. I don't think that helps me. I can probably get something out of this row of 3s here. two of these, which means one of these, which means two of these, which again means one of these, which means two of these, which means one of these, which means two of these, which means both of these. I got there. I figured it out. One of these, which means one of these, which means one of these, which means one of these, which we already know to be true, which means one of these, which, I mean, this is just down the road now, right? One, 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 one of these, and one of these. Damn it! Maybe I can do something with these fours? Might be able to do something with these fours. And or this two. This two over here feels like the trick. I guess this one over here is maybe also part of the trick. Right? One of these two, which means two of these four. Which means... who even knows what that means? I don't think that means anything. But also only one of these four, one of these two, and one of these two. So one of these two, and then it's just ones up all the way across again. It's not helpful. Two of these three, one of these two, two of these four. One of these two, two of these four, one of these two, two of these four, one of these, no, three of these four, one of these two means three of these four. Three of these four means one of these two, which means one of the... Damn it! All the way across again. Not helpful. All right. Maybe there's something I can do with A's? Might be something I can do with A's. One of these two, which means one of these two, which means one of these two, which means two of these three. Two of these three, huh? Where does that get me? Two of these three, which means one of these two. One of these two means two of these three. One of these two means two of these three, which means one of these two, which leaves me in a similar position of not being helped. Man, this was all looking real good at the start. And now it's just ones all the way across. Do I have to count all the ones? That's a lot of counting. I don't want to have to count all those ones. That's a lot of math. I didn't sign up for math. Maybe it's here? Maybe this helps me figure it out? There's B blank C right next to the 2? Awful. One of these 2 means 2 of these 3 means one of these 2. One of these 2 means 2 of these 4. Is that helpful? This is pairs all the way down. The whole way down. It's one of each on either side. Which means we have 2 of these 3 Bs. And we have 2 of these 3 Cs. Does that help? And only 1 of these 4 grays? Does that help? It feels like it might help. Is it across on this whole mess as well, the same way? Find a color I like here. Right? 2 of these 4, which means 1 here. Which means 3 of these 4. Which means 1 here. Which means 2 of these 4. Which means 2 of these 3. It doesn't help. Ah, this helps. 2 of these, based on 3s, means that this must be a bomb. I'm going to have to redo this to make sure I'm actually right about this. 2 of these 4 means this 3 needs 1 more. That means this 4 needs 3 more. So 3. Which means this 4 needs 1 more. Which means this 3 needs 2 more. Which means this 3 needs 1 more. Which means this 3 needs 2 more. Which means this 3 needs 1 more, which can only be this. Heck yeah. What the crap is this? This is the same garbage, except this is 4s over here instead of 3s. Something has changed. Progress. Wow. Alright, if this is just 1s the whole way down, then maybe this means we have pairs that must be things. So let's try that. Right? 1 of these 2, which means 1 of these 2. Which means for this 2, 1 of these 2. So for this 3, 1. For this 3, 1. 1. For this 3, 1. For this 3, 1. So for this 4, both of these. Which means 1. Which means for this 2, 1. So for this 2, 1. Which means one of these 3 C's. Oh, down to one of these 3 C's. Is that helpful? But now the numbers line up. But if the numbers line up, and this changed things... Oh, this changed things. That means not this, right? If one of these 2, then not this. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. We appear to have done it. Well, we appear to have done something. Which is... Call that progress. And categorically, if I am hitting one of these, it's not the other. That is information I also have access to. And then I hit bombs, so progress is stopped. This is 2. Wait, 2, 2, 2, 2? Nothing else? 2? Yeah, okay. 0. And now it's just mirrored the whole way up, huh? That's cool. Turns out it was mirrored anyway. Oh, not exactly. Some of this is a little different, but that was a fascinating set of solves. What a neat puzzle. Six A's, 4 B's, 66 grays. My word. No more than one of these, so all 3 of these. 5, huh? I know what that means. No more than one of these 2, so all 3 of these. One of these 2, so not this. 5! 4, 5, 6. Heck! No more than one of these, so all the rest of these. One of these 2, so not that. 2 and 3, that doesn't help. One of these 2, so not this. Hey, Formal, how's it going? Now what? 2 A's? Is that real? 2 B's? Is that real? How much of this is real? Is any of this real? I see these rows and columns are deliberately lined up to not hit the A's and B's. How cruel. Ah, the 2 and the 1 here opposite each other. This is the good stuff, right? No more than one of these 2, so that must be a bomb. One of these 2 must be a bomb for this one, so neither of these can be a bomb. Fantastic. Is this information? This might be information. One of these 2 is a bomb, so none of these 3 is a bomb. That's information for sure. Right, now this is information. One of these 3 is a bomb. No more than one of these 2 is a bomb, so this is a bomb. And that was the end of the information. There might be other information. Unclear yet. One of these 2, so one of these 2. One of these two is one of the bees. Do I know anything else about bees? I know nothing else about bees. I have no additional information about bees. One of these three. Here we go. Here we go. One of these three. So that means this needs to be a bomb. One of these three means neither of these two, which means this is a bomb. Right? This is a bomb? One of these two has to be a bomb? Yeah, this is a bomb. Looking good? Only one of these, huh? One of these two, so not this one. Not helpful. Somewhere here it lines up with something useful, right? No more than one of these. No more than one of these, so that's got to be a bomb. Okay, somewhere else it's got to line up for something useful, right? Where else does it line up for something useful? Here. One of these two. So one of these two, which means not that. One of these two, which means none of these three. Cool. One of these two, which means not that. One of these two, which means exactly that? No more than one of these two. No more than one of these two, so bomb. Exactly one of these, and exactly one of these, so not bomb. Attempts were made. But this particular creek of info appears to have dried up. It was only a trickle to begin with, but not a lot else is happening. Oh, no, there's more here. One of these two, so one of these two, so not this. Is that a good place for a 2? I don't know that that's a good place for a 2. That is a place for a 2. Hey, Tyrios, how's it going? I'm loving Tametsi, honestly. Like, this game is a bit of a stumper. It definitely makes me feel dumb when I miss something obvious, but like putting information together and coming up with conclusions is always so satisfying. I love all of these kinds of games. They've been very good to me. I feel like I should be able to do something with the A's and B's now. But, it's not quite there. Finally, mostly over the COVID, you got a GDQ. Ooh, it's been a while. I did escape it, actually. I had COVID just before GDQ. I don't think I'm responsible for spreading it because I got a negative test before attending. But, I got out of that with, completely fine. I say that, yeah, I know. Some asymptomatic people going around? Oh, Yeah, that sounds like a thing that could happen. Okay, but the roommate got COVID from traveling somewhere else. She was in Michigan, I think? So I'm fairly certain I'm not responsible for that one either. There's just a lot of COVID happening. Really a lot of COVID. This is why I didn't want to travel. I knew it was gonna happen. The moment I got onto an airplane, I got COVID. Still congested, wish that would go away. Yeah. I know, Devinock. I convinced myself that I had to go out and live my life regardless. And look what happened. I was wrong. I'm never leaving my house again. You go through waves in this game, still haven't finished all the levels. Yeah, there's a lot of levels. The lesson I have learned, Devinock, is that Hermitage is correct. There's got to be something here. Maybe it's the rows? Maybe I can finally pay attention to a row? And or column? All the options and quality of life stuff they added? Yeah, this is, like, I didn't play it before any of that stuff was added. So, I guess I don't have, like, a comparison point. But the options are great. Like, countdown mode is just so good. I don't know that I could play a Minesweeper, like, without countdown mode, now that I've played it. We almost have something here, right? One of these two, one of these two, one of these two. So one of these four. It's so close. One of these two, one of these two. So one of these 8? Almost there. It's almost real information. Maybe I can do something here? Not really. Oh, here's something. One of these two, which means not that. And then we have this cross, right? One of these two, so not that or that. And then we know one of these two, right? We still know one of these two, so neither of these. A 0! Heck yeah. Alright. Now it's coming together. Now I can play some Minesweeper. It's pretty good. I don't know about this, but sure. One of these two, so not this one. Ah, nice 0. Nice 0. Does that get me the A's? That still does not get me the A's. Oh, I have a 0 over here, too? What a life. How lucky. Seven of these 9. Good numbers. Do I like these numbers? Not sure about these numbers. One of these two, right? 2 of these 4, so one of these 2. One of these 2 means one of these 3, which does not help. Not coming together. Maybe something down here is useful? I think the answer is no. Nothing down here is useful. Unfortunate. We're still on 2 A's and 1 B. Is really none of this useful? How did this happen? Maybe here there's something? Feels like there should be something here. I think there is still not something here, though. 3 of these 4. At least 1, maybe 2 of these 2. But I could have told you that already. Here, maybe? Oh, wow. Wow. This was available the whole time. Once again, no one is as blind as those who will not see. One of these 2, which means one of these 2, which means none of these. Question marks! Terrible news. Here we go. One of these 2, so not that. One of these 3, so not that. Which means that. And that still hasn't got me any closer to this mess. Ah! One of these days. One of these days I'll figure out something. I will get you, A's and B's. This isn't enough info. Oh no, this isn't enough information. One of these 2, which means neither of these. Ah. One of these 2, so not this. One of these 2, so none of these. One of these 2, so 2 of these 3. 2 of these 3. At least one of the A's here. At least one of these A's. Exactly. Wait, if at least one of these A's, then neither of these. And if exactly one of the... No, at least one. No, exactly one. Exactly one because of the 1. So this has to be the other bomb. Haha! I did it! I'm a genius! I used A information! It finally happened! My god. One of these 2, so 2 of these 3. Does that help? No. No, it doesn't. That helps, though. One of these 2, so this has to be a bomb. Still don't know what I'm doing over here, but I'm sure it will resolve itself in time. I'm sure. 9. This is still 7 of 9. There's either 2 or 3 of these 4. If 2 of these 4, then all of these are bombs. But at minimum, 4 of these are bombs. Still not quite coming together. Here, maybe? Is there something here? Can we have learned something for here? Is this real? Is this one real? Is one of these two, so two of these three? One of these two, so one of these three? Does one of these three tell me anything? Kind of doesn't. Really doesn't. Nope. Nope. Oh, here. It's 2 and 2. Yeah. We got it figured out now. 2 of these 4, so not that. No more than one of these two. So exactly one of these two. Which means exactly one of these two. Which means not that. Did this get me anywhere? Questionable. No more than one of these two. If no more than one of these two, then I'm at 7 of 7, right? No, I'm at 6 of 7. Damn it. Could be the top two. Did it? Then that would have been satisfied without any of these. Then it could have been that one. Oh, yeah. It was no more than one of these two. But it could have been 0 of these two. Right? Was there something else there? Did I just guess and guessed right? Lucky me? I hate that. That happens sometimes. Most of the time, these puzzles are set up in such a way that the one that you want to think is intuitively one way or another is wrong. Like, it'll lead you to incorrect assumptions if you make assumptions. But something about the way it... I thought it worked, but maybe it didn't. Anyway, yeah, as it stands right now, I think the 7 helps. No more than one of these two, which means I am at 6 of the remaining 7. But it can't be all 4 of these. It can be at most 3 of these, which means these 3 have to be bombs. I think. Yeah, I know that it can't be all 4 of these, but it could be 3 of these. And if it's 3 of these 4, then we have 6 of the remaining 7, and then 3 of these 4. So we have 3 of the remaining 3. Like, these all just have to be bombs. So now we know exactly 3 of these instead of 2. Because 3 of these 4. 1 of these 2, 3 of these 4. What does 3 of these 4 mean to me? It can't be these 3, and it can't be these 3. It could be these two and this one. Or it could be these two and this one. Which means bombs on both sides, regardless. Because there is no way for it to be the middle two and not one of the sides. So these two, and one of these two isn't a bomb. Apparently both of these are bombs. That's cool. One of these two. Cool. Call that progress, I guess. One of these? Interesting. No more than one of these three, so this has to be a bomb? Three here. Two of these three, one of them has to be a B. Can finally open this up. Wow, it took a long time. Exactly one of these two. So two of these three. Exactly one of these two. And no more than one of these two. So bomb. So now we're at exactly one of these two. And exactly one of these two for this too. So not this. This is all going to have to be like click or all going to be unclick because of gray count. But I don't know which it's going to be yet. Probably these three are guaranteed open. Oh no, the two's going to get resolved. So I'll open this one and that'll give me information about the other two. This doesn't come together, unfortunately. One of these two. One of these two. There's a one there, so that has to be a bomb. That's cool. Oh. No more than two of these three. So this has to be a bomb also. Exactly two of these three. One of these is a bomb, so this can't be a bomb. Well, I hope I didn't just click things by accident, thinking that these weren't real. Anyway, it seems to have worked out. I'm very good at this. One of these two is guaranteed to be a bomb, so we can open up the rest of it. Exactly one of these is a bomb, so this is also a bomb. I still don't know which direction this is going, but one of these two A's is a bomb. What's up, can't find a name? Yeah? That sounds about right. I'm not going to argue the logic on that one. Is there something here? There must be something here. Sweeping away the competition. Heck yeah. Competitive Minesweeper. Yep, there is this one here, so we know one of these. And there's a one here, which is fascinating. But I don't know what to do with that yet. No more than one of these. Use Matryorbshka and pray. I mean, it is a consistent strategy. One of these, so two of these four? Does two of these four tell me anything? I don't think it does. Two of these five? One of these two. So one of these three, actually. One of these two, so one of these three. Hang on, I may be onto something here. One of these two. So one of these three. No more than one here. Which means... exactly one of these three. Is that what that means? No more than one. Could be 0. So it could be 2 here. Never mind. Never mind. Drawing conclusions that are illegal. 5 yards for drawing illegal conclusions. But no more than one of these two. But it could be 0. It could be 0 of these two. There could be 2 here instead of 1 here. But no more... exactly 1 here. Wait a minute. Maybe I did this right, but in the wrong place. Right? Exactly 1 of these. Which means exactly 1 of these. But more importantly, no more than 1 of these 2. And no more than 1 here. So that has to be a bomb. Congratulations, we did it. Which means we have 2 out of these 2. So this is not a bomb. 1 of these 2. Which means 1 of these 2. Which means none of these. Progress! Buttons have been pressed. 2 of these 3. Which means 1 of these 2. Which means nothing useful. One of these 2, which means 2 of these 3. Could it be these 2? Could be those 2. Wait a minute. We're doing it again. 1 of these 2, which means for this 2, 1 of these 2, which means for this 3, 2 of these 3, which means this is resolved. Heck yeah. One of these 2, so this is a bomb. And I still don't know which A is a bomb, but one of the A's is a bomb. One of these 2. So one of these 2. Which means nothing about these 2. 5 more bombs left in grays? Oh, there's still stuff out here. Yeah. One of these 2. Okay, we know one of these 2. That's already a given. Which means one of these 3. No more than one of these 3. We already know that. In fact, one of these 2 and one of these 2 is guaranteed. Hold. This is guaranteed. So exactly one of these 2 is guaranteed. And exactly one of these 2 is guaranteed. So this can't be a bomb. Two of these 3. Which means not that one. Okay. Let's put it together. 1 here. 1 here. 1 across these 3? I don't know if 1 across these 3. It might be 2 across these 3. Oh, this is a bomb. Haha. Finally get to fill this in. Now I have 3 in grays. And I know only one of these 2, so both of these 2. Whew, that took a while. That took some effort. Damn. Came together, though. Alright. I did say this was going to be a short stream, and I have gone over my my previous predetermined endpoint. So we gotta wrap this up quick like. How many puzzles? Actually, I got the 10 puzzles today, starting at 46, I think. Not bad.